What is going on, guys? Welcome to this video in which I'll be showing you how to media buy like an expert. I'll be showing you how to take your whole business operation, if you're a direct-to-consumer brand or e-commerce brand, taking your whole business operation and computing the numbers, say looking at your whole variable cost, your average order value, and computing those to coming out with your target ROAS, your break-even ROAS, essentially. So taking that break-even ROAS and using a target ROAS bidding strategy within Facebook, which forces the system to only generate sales when it knows it's gonna hit that target ROAS, whether that's breaking even or whether that's 120% ROAS or whether that's 150% target ROAS. You don't want to miss what we're going to be talking about today, because this is insightful and you definitely need to know this for your success in business. If you don't know who I am, my name is Frank Kinney. I own Lion Media, which is an advertising agency in addition to a clothing company, right? So exactly what we're going to be talking about is the same things that we do within our business. Let's get started with this. So first things first, right? So we want to take the approach from a business that really understands and knows all the metrics, all the numbers, all the variable costs associated with selling their product, right? So I have a calculator over here that we use within our company, within our brand. So we use this both for our client in addition for our own personal brand as well. So let's do this. So we have our iPad over here. Screen record. Boom. So we have an iPad over here. So this is an Excel sheet calculator in which we use to compute all our business operation, right? So if you can see over here, right, it has like fixed fees and orders, right? So essentially what that is it calculates the credit card fees, merchant processing, shipping fees for your product, fulfillment costs if you're using a third-party logistic, and the product cost. So essentially what it costs to produce that product from a manufacturer or for wherever, right? So it takes into calculation that in addition to what we're planning to sell that product for, which is the average order value, right? So it takes that into account and then it calculates what our margin is, our gross profit margin, in addition to what is our expected gross profit, right? So let's just look at margin first. This is a gross profit margin. So our margin for this specific calculation is if our average order value is $80, and then we've computed these numbers, so the cost to produce this product is going to be $5. You know, fulfillment cost per unit is going to be $2.45, and the shipping costs are going to be $3.50. You got the merchant processing fees in addition to the credit card fees, right, which is 2.5%, right? So we take that, right? It already calculates everything for you, right? So it tells you exactly what is the percentage cost of the whole operation, right? And then we have the gross profit margin over here, which is 83.44%. Like, so really good business, right? With that high of a profit margin, right? And it also lets us know what our expected gross profit is, right? In addition to our break-even ROAS, right? So when we're going into Facebook and we're looking at the numbers, right, we need to make sure that we're hitting these numbers to break even, right? As I said in this video, I'm going to show you how to use a target ROAS bidding strategy, which forces the system to hit this number right here based upon this specific calculation, right? So let's look at this. So over here, when we look at the margin and target ROAS, right? So we have over here set our average order value, which is $80, right? Then it calculates what the cost of goods sold plus the shipping, which is $13.25, and then it lets us know what our profit per order is, which is $66.75 for this specific example and this specific direct-to-consumer brand, right? And then it calculates what our break-even ROAS is, which is a 1.20 break-even ROAS. So that's what we need to hit within the platform to break even within the whole business operation, right? So as I said, I'll show you how to set up your Facebook ad account in which you're hitting this specific number. You know that setting this account, you will hit this specific number based upon what I'll be showing you in this video, right? Now we can also set a target ROAS, and we can also set a marginal ROAS target. So let's say we want to hit a 10% margin ROAS, or maybe a 15% or 20%, right? It also computes that. So if we want to hit a 10% margin ROAS, that's going to be a 1.36 based upon this calculation, right? And then we can also set that within the account. So you can have different campaigns or different ad set all associated with the different target we have over here. So we can have one that is, okay, we want to make sure this specific ad set is breaking even. And then we have another ad set that is going to be hitting a 10% targeted margin ROAS, right? So on and so forth. This thing is extremely valuable, and it's very essential for you as a direct-to-consumer brand business to have all these numbers inputted, right? Let's look at another scenario within the same calculation. So for this one specifically, it lets us know, as we've seen on the previous one, what our target ROAS is, right? And then we also know, based upon this calculation over here, what the CPA is, right? So what we can do is we can set a target CPA, right? Cost per acquisition, right? Or we can set a target ROAS. But in this specific example that I'm going to show you today, we're going to set a target ROAS goal. So we have this, based upon our calculation, we know that our target ROAS, our break-even ROAS is a 1.20, right? So that's what we're gonna focus on doing. So boom, we're into our Facebook ad account, right? And so obviously what we wanna do first is create a campaign, right? And so I'm gonna walk you step by step how to create that campaign with a target ROAS bidding strategy. So you're gonna create a campaign, and obviously we always wanna pick the sales objective. And I've created a previous video going more in depth into how to successfully set up a Facebook ad campaign if you wanna look at that. So we select the sales objective, right? And then we select a manual sales campaign. And then that will take us within the account now, in which we can pick certain options. So this is very important to pay attention to this over here, right? To be able to select a target ROAS bidding strategy, we absolutely must select the Advantage campaign budget on. So this toggle over here needs to be on, right? Once that is on, we come down over here, and then you want to click on show more option, right? Honestly, you don't even need to click on that. What we actually want to click on is the campaign bid strategy. Currently right now it's at the highest volume or value. We want to change that to, you see over here we have a ROAS goals. That's exactly what we want, right? If you wanted to set a CPA goal, you pick the other option, which is cost per results, right? Cost per goal. But for this specific example in this video, we're gonna set a ROAS goal based upon the calculation that we did on our calculator over here on our Excel sheet, right? So click the target ROAS goal, right? So now that's what we're bidding for. Go to next. Now, next, boom. This is really where the magic happens, right? Now, you see over here, it says ROAS goal. What do we want to set that to be at, right? Now you can read the description as it says over here. Meta will aim to get the most purchases value and try to keep the average return on ad spend, right? Around a 0.01%. Some results may be lower and some may be a little bit higher, right? So we know what our target ROAS, we know what our break-even ROAS is based upon our calculation, right? Which is a 1.20. Exactly, that's what we want to set over here, right? A 1.20 ROAS target, right? And it's really that simple. I'm not going to take you through the whole process of building this whole account, right? But the main thing that we really want to make sure that we have selected is within the campaign option, we have the Advantage, as I showed you over here, we have the Advantage campaign budget set into place. And then for the bidding strategy, we have a ROAS goal target set into place, right? And then when we go into ad set level, right? And this is where you pick all your audiences and all the audiences, things of that essence, and the different placement. As I talked before in the previous video, we always want to set this to an Advantage placement, specifically for the placement, right? And obviously you pick the target location in which you want your ads to be displayed, to be shared, right? And then you can go ahead and pick your detailed target and audience, right? As we talked about in the last video, the best audience that really works for us is a broad audience, right? You just have to make sure that you have enough budget to be able to set that campaign to select a specific audience, right? So again, we have our ROAS target at 1.20, which is exactly what we need to break even based upon a calculation in the Excel sheet that we generated over here, right? And then obviously you want to go to next and then build out what the ad is going to look like, your ad copy, the creative that you're going to use, etc., right? And then once that is done, you just deploy that, you launch it, right? And then you just obviously have to kind of monitor and look what is going on. There's going to be some instances to where your ad may not be delivering, right? So if it comes to that case where your ad is not delivering because Facebook cannot find any opportunities based upon the target that we set, what you actually want to do is set a 10%. So set the target, so set the ROAS 10% below what your break-even ROAS is, right? So if your break-even ROAS is going to be at 1.20, set it at 1.10, right, or 1.10, right? And additionally, do the same thing. If that one doesn't deliver, set the account at the target ROAS of 100%, right? And then you just keep going down, or eventually until your ad delivers, right? So the instances, those are some of the problems that you may come across where your ad doesn't deliver because the system is not able to find any opportunities. So it might just take a little bit longer to generate those results, right? If you're an impatient person, which I would advise you to wait if that is the case, right? Set the target ROAS at a 10% below what your break-even ROAS is. Guys, hopefully that makes sense. Again, before you even go ahead and start building out the campaign and the account, you want to make sure you know what these metrics are, right? You want to make sure you know what these metrics are. You want to know what your break-even ROAS, and looking at the whole business operation, right? You want to know what that is, right? And then when you start looking at like forecasting, say, cool, maybe we want to set a target ROAS margin of 10% or 15% or 20%, right? That's when we start to make a profit. This is super important, and I'm hoping this makes a lot of sense, and I'm hoping that you will start using the strategy to make sure and just force the system to generate the results that you need for your business. Guys, if you found this video helpful, please subscribe. And if you have any questions based on what we talked about today, leave them down in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.